Hey, how's it going? Today's video is gonna be slightly different compared to perhaps the other videos that I was making. I thought this video approach with more structure, so there's the script. I could do it, but perhaps it will be very boring because I personally believe most of the videos are being currently done in that particular way. I mean, we can try it, but most likely I will jump on the company's website and perhaps share more information, which I personally believe would be more important than script or perhaps marketing and some of those organizations, right? Within this video, we're gonna be taking a look as well as with the next perhaps I don't know 10, perhaps 15 different videos. I'm gonna be taking a look at Europe and innovation centers within Europe and what those centers are and what kind of support those centers can offer to different businesses, right? Since some of the centers might be limited to what kind of support they might be able to offer, and some of those businesses um, up there tackling new challenges, and those challenges there's a lot of problems right to solve, and not necessarily all the centers might have necessary resources to do so. That's just my personal understanding. I'm going to be taking a look at perhaps 20 over 20 different centers, but it depends. Some of those centers might not be relevant, but I'm going to be taking a look at 20 of those. First one would be FTMC. This particular center is based in Lithuania, so I'm going to be taking a look at this center and see what kind of business solutions they might be able to offer. I have recently read some news in the newspaper about some of the new discoveries that they've made. What this organization is all about. Let's start with that. Center for Physical Science and Technology. FTMC is a largest scientific research institution carrying out a unique fundamental research and technological developments, works in scientific field of laser technologies, optoelectronics, nuclear physics, organic chemistry, bio and nanotechnologies, electronical material science, functional materials, electronics, etc. in Lithuania. In the center, not only the innovative science but also high technology expedient for business and society needs are developed. So it's very broad areas, right? Myself, as an entrepreneur, I need people within those different areas. So again, how many project managers they might have, as well as how busy those project managers might be. Some of those centers currently within the UK, it seems like many of those are very busy. So I'm currently in conversations with them. I have reached out to a number of centers. I had received response for about 5 different project managers. So we are on the way, I guess, as well as I'm going to be tackling Europe and try to understand what kind of opportunities are within Europe and how they would do most likely they do some of the things differently, but there might be certain standards that apply to different organizations. It depends on the contract, right? I have read a little bit about the center before, and some of the resources that I have read, it would say that yeah, the center was established in 1998. I was just trying to understand a little bit better about the center, what, if anything, I was trying to manage my own expectations, right? As well as now that I'm taking a look at the company's organization's website, it would say FTMC was established in 2010 by Joint Institutes of Chemistry, Physics, Semiconductor Physics in Vilnius, that would be a capital, and Textile Institute in Kaunas, that would be a nearby city based on population, that would be a next. Or recent years, the center combining different sciences branches has become one of the leading scientific institutions in Lithuania. So perhaps they have a large pool of experts. Perhaps who knows, right? I don't know how many requests they might have from businesses, there might be one of those institutions, right? As well as I don't know when it comes to structure, right? As I would approach not necessarily looking for a job, right? I would be approaching them looking for people, experts who can discover new technologies, if that makes sense. If I would reach out to someone within UK on the board, they would already have a number of business leaders, if that makes sense. And I'm not entirely sure about some of those institutions within UK. What would be policies within those centers, right? If those business leaders who are sitting on the board would be able to access some of the projects that my organization would be doing within the UK. I don't know if they are on the board, right? So perhaps if they would change those policies, they can take a quick peek at some of the work that I'm doing within the UK. So to prevent any of that happening, I might find myself in a situation where my business, which is based within the UK, need to reach out to other institutions, perhaps looking for support from Europe, and perhaps we can develop something new and then introduce something new into UK's market that haven't been done before, with something interesting for prospects and consumers, right? This organization's vision, uh, generation and capitalization of scientific knowledge in applied physics, chemistry, and technological science, promoting the evolution of high-tech industry. Perhaps it's one of the best industries, perhaps when it comes to maximizing your profits as a company, but how well they might be able to manage those projects, that's a different story, right? So it's good that some of the centers are very ambitious. I like that, but it depends how much work they can handle. In development of new technologies and innovation devices, FTMC is closely cooperating with scientists from Germany, France, Great Britain, Scotland, Poland, Taiwan. They have recently received a lot of support, as well as different businesses can seek for funding when it comes to cooperating or working together. I don't know, perhaps it has something to do with semiconductors. I'm not entirely sure, right? With the sourcing expertise, right? Since that's one of those problems that I myself find myself tackling. I'm not that interested, but I'm looking for experts, right? As well as USA and other countries as it implementations joined European Union and bilateral scientific projects. FTMC and its researchers are members of various international organizations, including APSE, European Photonic Industry Association, as OS. I don't know. It's a promo. I don't know those organizations. Perhaps worth reaching out to those organizations and if not today, perhaps later this week. But yeah, there's a lot of different organizations. Again, I'm not being supported by these organizations. Send me a check. Some of those projects, one that caught my attention, right, was scrolling on the newspapers, right, trying to understand what's happening in the world. And this is how this institution caught my attention. That would be FTMC, Smart Vest, among the first inventions in Lithuania to receive European Unity patent. Myself, my legal team advised me a slightly different process when it comes to filing for patents and all the legal protection when it comes to intellectual property. So myself, I've been advised slightly differently compared to this article. So I don't know. Again, it's kind of tricky, right? So to do your own research when it comes to filing for any patents. Perhaps it's up to date. Perhaps the process itself it took for a very long time. I'm not entirely sure what everything happens and. Within Europe, perhaps it's slightly different compared to UK and compared to the rest of the world when it comes to protecting intellectual property, right? If anything, as well as we have recently released in projects, right? Some of those, perhaps partly, if not entirely, was developed within this institution, which is kind of great. If it's something that you're yourself interested in, I would highly recommend taking a look at and some of the interesting projects that they are doing. I'm always interested in see what people are doing. Some of the different countries would focus on different areas, right? It's good that this country is focusing on perhaps West or thermal, right? Let's take a look at technology transfer, right? And perhaps that will be more of the area that where more business leaders would focus or entrepreneurs would look at. That would be as this organization have defined it. I don't know how many businesses are collaborating with this organization. 20, 30, 800, 5,000, right? Perhaps all the businesses approach these kind of institutions slightly different depending on what kind of projects those organizations might be interested in completing, as well as what kind of people or perhaps access to what kind of equipment some of the institutions might have. Some institutions might focus on completely different things, right? So if myself or other business leaders might need to perhaps source funding, it might look to different governments, and those governments or institutions might have different talent pool, different access, different funding, different problems. So that makes sense, right? Something that might be a problem. For example, right, within places like Egypt, right now, they not necessarily have a lot of water, right? Water is an issue, right? Different governments, perhaps Norway, the temperature is an issue. That makes sense, right? So they would focus more on that instead of focusing on water. There is so much water, some of those governments don't know what to do with the water, right? So different parts of the world have different issues, right? It's kind of interesting, I guess, how others governments do think, as well as institutions within those governments, how those institutions operate. That's just, I guess, my own understanding. But I see there's a lot of similarities, to say the least, right? Technology transfer. They have some opportunities when it comes to spin-offs. So it's something that some of the projects that would be teams developing those projects, and if any of those projects would take off, as well as what the spin-offs they might be able to do within those projects, as well as perhaps they have allocated team of experts. I have seen a number of professionals from different universities who are collaborating with this institution, as well as I don't know. I will see. I will try to reach out to them. Perhaps it will be a case that they are very busy again. So sometimes that could happen, right? Either this institution or the institution might not have it, or might not be interested in doing any business, right? We are talking about the holiday season soon, and there's no need of doing any work, right? Other than perhaps training the students, not necessarily collaborating with the business. If you are interested in learning more, I have published a book, Game Strategy. Within this book, I'm sharing a lot of information for all the people from very basic understanding. I'm looking to share a very simple concept when it comes to business and how to understand business, how to operate business. If you're currently doing research or it's something that you see yourself doing in the future, as well as progressing into actually starting a business, taking action, and what kind of areas, all the research that you would need to do, as well as if you have a lot of access to different resources, right? How you can allocate those resources to different projects, and how and what you would need to know in that kind of stage. So all three stages are being covered within this book. If it's something that you're interested to find out more, I'd highly recommend to purchase this book. There's a QR code in the corner, or you can go to company's website below. There's gonna be so many it can be so many different problems, right? So I don't know. I'm kind of excited for every new opportunity that am I able to see, or am I able to scout, am I able to find, right? But it might be the case that I will send some documents, and some of those organizations might more like altruistic, if that makes sense. Not necessarily they're interested in developing something new, but not necessarily would be able to protect all of their discoveries, not able to protect intellectual property, not be able to protect any information or group of people that would be working on that project. So they're not necessarily be interested in signing any legal agreements within any business, right? So perhaps they're more interested in developing future leaders, so a lot of business can hire those and work within internal research and development, not necessarily themselves. So they are currently in position to collaborate with any business. Hopefully, I don't know. I have reached out to this organization. Hopefully, I will have a response very soon. And if not, I don't know. I'm just moving, moving next. What will be the next institution? I'll gonna progress to Europe, and from there perhaps in different parts of Europe. Perhaps I'm interested to do business with everyone if they would like. Italy, Germany, France, I don't know, Spain, all of those organizations, as well as, I don't know, everyone. Let's start with Europe. Perhaps it would be easier to secure finance, to say the least. It might be easier to when it comes to finance. From there, I might be interested to do business with Taiwan, but I'm not entirely sure where finance will come from again. So it would be different problems then. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.